Hello and welcome everyone to today's Seer 365 session. Smarter inventory, stronger business with EazyStock. As always, for the Seer 365 sessions, if you do have any questions around what we're discussing today, whether you're watching on demand or live, please do feel free to put any questions in the chat. If you're on LinkedIn, it will be a comments box just below the main screen, and I will drop a message in there shortly as well, just to show you where to go. Please do feel free to ask any questions. We will have a short kind of Q&A moment at the end, and we'll be happy to pick it up then. If you're watching on demand, again, we'll get a notification, and someone will be in touch to help answer that question very, very soon afterwards. So let's come to the topic of today's session: how to do more with less. It is becoming a tougher and tougher trading environment for both manufacturers and all sorts of end customers using Dynamics 365. And inventory optimization is really the name of the game of what we are talking about today, and EazyStock are some experts, some specialists in that area. So without further ado, what I will do is hand you over to Ranveer, who has very, very kindly joined us for today's session. Hey, Ranveer.
Hello, thanks Rufus, and thank you everyone for joining. So let's start with a quick introduction of myself. So my name is Ranveer Singh. I'm a Customer Success Director for EazyStock. Been with the company just over 11 years now, wearing many hats and working with customers of all shapes and sizes, from large multinational corporations to small, 10-person operations. Combine that with my business experience, I've also got technical background with a degree in computer science. So that helps me get an all-round understanding of the application from a technical perspective and a business perspective. So apparently that labels me as a product guru. So a little bit about EazyStock, so you know who you're talking to. So the first thing you might say is, who are you and why should we listen to you, right? So we're a SaaS company. We've been in the inventory optimization space since the late 90s, and inventory optimization has been a core focus of ours. We've got two parts of our business. We've got an enterprise side and a SMB side. So that's enterprise side operating under the name Synchron, and then EazyStock is the SMB side. We've got a global presence. On the EazyStock side, we focus mainly on UK, North America, Nordics, and parts of Europe. And Synchron is truly global and supports many regions around the world. On the EazyStock side, we currently support just over 250 customers globally by about 50 employees, which consists of a great customer success team that has a strong supply chain experience that is ensuring that our customers are onboarded efficiently and getting as much value out of our tools as possible. We also have a dedicated research and development team that is always working hard to ensure that our products are always evolving and staying at the forefront of kind of technology and what our customers need and expect. So this is just a few of the logos we work with on both the Synchron and EazyStock side. So a few household names and maybe some lesser known companies, but still with quite complex supply chains. So we have a lot of experience and wealth working with companies of all different sizes and experience, and then we hope we can bring that to you and your clients in the future. So let's start by discussing the pains that leads companies to actually invest in inventory optimization and where the benefit comes from, right? So the first is poor visibility. So forecasting and purchasing should be data-driven. So if you can't see that data, or you don't have the facilities to see things like outliers, forecast adjustments, promotional performance, seasonality, for example, then you can't be making the best decisions. Likewise, tracking performance against forecasts is essential. How can you adjust if you can't see what is happening? Similarly, with supply formats and lead times as well, do you know what is happening with lead times? Do you know what your supplier fill rates are? So missing an incomplete data or not having the tools to produce what you need means you're making decisions without the full picture in mind. Next, we think about inefficiency. So data is often available, but getting it is manual and time consuming, right? Teams spend hours expediting orders, update multiple spreadsheets, pulling information from ERPs or WMS systems. And, it's valuable information, but it takes a lot of time to get, right? So you've got highly skilled people who are, who could be driving strategic improvements throughout the business, but they're stuck doing admin. So the solution is you want automation, smart tools, and AI to remove that burden, boost productivity, and ultimately unlock the potential of a purchaser in this environment. Then we've got inaccuracy. So this kind of leads on from the visibility aspect. Once you can see the data, things like the trend, the consequences of stockouts, outliers, alerts, only then can you really do something about them. What also can be identified, is areas where the data might be a little bit lacking, right? Where it might be incorrect. So, for example, missing minimum order quantities or pack sizes, multiples may not align. Taking advantage of discount pricing, and knowing when does that kick in, right? So, also, are we accounting for lost sales? How long were we out of stock? How many back orders did we take? How many orders did we potentially lose? Obviously, I could go on and on about this, but the point is, if you're missing this data and this level of input, how can you expect to make the correct purchasing decisions?
Yeah, it's that classic thing, isn't it? And this kind of applies in a wider sense of data is king in an ERP system, but in this specific instance, this is especially around stock management, especially around understanding your suppliers as well, and that's why this is key to a fairly delivery oriented part of end customers' businesses.
Yeah, exactly. And they say, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Exactly.
The right data leads to the right decisions. Bad data leads to bad decisions. So by having the tools to find this data and correct it, it means you can be better in the future, right?
Well put.
Then we've got profit leakage, right? So these are the four of the obvious ones, or to the extent that you can calculate them. Lost sales, maybe not without a good process, but if you've got a good process, then you can usually track it. But look, if you look further than this, it's also the reputation of the business you got to think about, right? How many clients are in a lucky enough position that the customer can only buy from them? How many customers buy from someone else if stock is not available from you or your clients, right? So once the customer goes elsewhere, what are the chances they're going to come back to you, right? Where they're more likely to go next time? So you're not just losing sales, you're also losing customers, you're losing reputation. So something to safeguard and think about. Then you got external pressures, right? Just in the last 5 years alone, what have we seen? We've seen tariffs, we've seen changes to budgets, we've seen minimum wage changes, we've seen changes to national insurance, COVID, ships getting stuck in canals, pirates, wars, political issues. It's like playing supply chain nightmare bingo. And that's all before you even start to think about suppliers, Chinese New Year's, regulations, for example. How many of these impact you or your clients, right? Most of this obviously is out of your hands to an extent, but all needs to be factored in when you're doing your planning. So what does this all add up to? For businesses, it's ultimately four areas, right? It's unhappy customer base, it's poor reputation, it's poorly informed decision making, and ultimately money missing off the bottom line. It's also the impact on the team, though, that often gets ignored. For companies having these issues, they've hired smart people, likely with good experience, and put them in charge of the stock. Then they burden them with time drains like expediting, making decisions, making difficultly, causing unnecessary stress, which leads to motivation and morale problems. And ultimately, it means losing good people and staff turnover, which is not ideal. And too often people fall into the trap of saying, it's fine and that's how we've always done it. The truth, that mindset puts unnecessary pressure on purchasing teams, right? Arguably the part of the business with the biggest impact. And yes, I might be a little biased here, but we believe that. But the question is also, is fine good enough? Why settle for fine? Who really wants to be just fine, right? What if instead of fine, everything could be good or even great? Well, let's explore alternatives. So let's think about how EazyStock optimizes inventory, right? So this slide here seems like a bit of a dream, right? These ideals, but I promise you, it isn't. It isn't even that hard, right? All you need is the right tools, the right training, and the right support, and these goals can be achievable. At a glance, EasyStock delivers 4 key benefits. You've got smarter forecasting, leveraging advanced statistical models and automated seasonality analysis so that the system can adapt to seasonal demand patterns effortlessly. You've got optimized inventory levels, ensure that the right stock is in the right place at the right time, with built-in tools to handle supply shutdowns through intelligent order scheduling and calendars. Greater visibility, track inventory across all locations and uncover trends and patterns that drive better decisions. And then also actionable insights. Monitor business performance over time with our pre-built KPIs and intelligent analytic tools. And this is what optimize should look like, right? Let's go back to our little friend with the laptop. Before fine was just an illusion. Behind the scene, it meant poor planning, inaccurate data, time-consuming processes, and cost leaks everywhere. But introducing the right software, that picture changes fast. Suddenly, operations are optimized, workflows are easier, data is more accurate. And let's be honest, the ultimate goal for most businesses, profit starts to soar. So getting started with EasyStock is very easy. We've got an app on the app source that enables fast and quick integration. So if you're in a SaaS environment, you can download that directly and install it. If you're on premise, then we can provide the app for that, and we support both BC and Navision. So once that integration is established, then you're good to start utilizing the value. So the 7 easy steps to success, and this is all guided by a team of seasoned customer success professionals with deep supply chain experience. These steps ensure a smooth, successful implementation backed by ongoing support from experts who truly understand your business and take the time to understand and learn your business, and make sure that you're getting as much value out of the system as possible, and ultimately reaching those goals as quick as possible.
As someone that works with a lot of ISVs as well, I mean, the speed of your implementations, you've really got them down to quite a fine art. Inventory optimization is not it's not straightforward. There are complexities, and I think the way that you guys take on a lot of that complexity is really impressive.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about having a structured approach, right? And helping people follow that approach, but also leveraging their way of learning, right? Their needs, taking that into account when we approach the training and the onboarding, right? So it's you start with a one size a one size fits all model, but then you tailor it to the needs of the particular client to make sure that they're getting as much value and extracting as much information as they can with their preferences, right?
Awesome.
So don't just take our word for it. Here's a case study we would like to present. This is a company called InvoPack. They're on Business Central. So before implementing Business Central and EazyStock, they faced some big challenges. This was inaccurate forecasts, frequent stockouts, excess inventory, and inefficient error-prone procurement processes. After the implementation, however, the results were impressive. Product availability jumped to 97%, even hitting 100% at times. They gained full visibility and precise forecasting over their products. After this, the purchasing team now works with greater efficiency and confidence. And Oliver Lancaster, the head of supply chain there, even put it like this, that the results speak for themselves. And he thinks EazyStock is a shining example of how things should be. So he was very happy with his decision to purchase us, and very happy with the results that we were able to help him achieve.
That's an excellent quote. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is just some of the logos that we work with in the Microsoft space, either on Business Central, Navision, that are benefiting from EazyStock today. In terms of the kind of results we see from customers, so we've seen as much as 30% reduction in inventory. Obviously, that depends on your starting point, but that can be quite impressive. 25% less holding costs as you reduce that inventory. You save on the holding costs, right? Extra, 15% increase in a higher stock availability, and this is by restructuring your stocking profile, right, and making sure that you stock more of the products that are needed and less of the products that are not needed right now, so to speak, right? So this is all while improving service level and also the hours saved on reducing any manual work of identifying the products to order and then actually raising those orders, right? So not only do you save money, but you also save a lot of time.
Okay.
So what I'll do now is I'll quickly jump into the system, show you a couple of screens, give you a feel for how EasyStock looks. So let me exit that and then bring up my system. Okay, so first I'll show you our worksheet screen, and this is kind of the screen where you can see all the low-level information in one place, right? This is where data is king. So in here, I'm looking at a particular warehouse for a particular item. And in here, I can see all the kind of information in one place. I can see things like, what is the item? What is the description of that item? How much does it weigh? What's the lead time I'm working towards? Any grouping information that might be relevant. I can see details about the item. So what is my current stocking situation? So currently I've got nothing in stock, nothing on order, but I'm working towards a order level or a reorder point of around 166. So this is an item that I should have in stock. And here I can see that the system has made a recommendation. So it wants me to order 192. What happens is, all recommendations start in pending status, and as you action them, you change that status from pending to confirmed. So I could confirm this order here, and that'll change the status here. So that's me kind of the first step of actioning this recommendation, right? The point is, give you the information on the screen to be able to make that decision. So I can do things like, well, let's look at my forecast, see some recent history, look at my forecast going forward. This green line here being my forecast, I can see it's going up and down. So that tells me there's some seasonality applied here. I can drill down into individual periods and look at the actual transactions driving the forecasting. I can see the relevant order numbers. I can see any customer related information if that's provided. I can see the dates these orders were registered. The idea is, the system aggregates your demand into monthly or weekly buckets and generates a demand forecast going forward. These forecasts can be adjusted. So this is currently 67 next month based on where the system is set. I can override the forecast. I can set a reservation like a minimum, or I can add or subtract from it. So, for example, if I wanted to add, 10 units here, I could, or I could add, 10%. So let's do 10% as an example, and I can see it's calculated 10% and added it to my forecast. And then I can see it's been adjusted, right? The idea is the system will calculate your forecast for you, will do the analysis to give you a forecast, but then enable you, give you the time to actually apply your business intelligence, right? And allow you to massage the forecast, help the system understand about things that are going to affect your future sales, which is not captured in history, and the system wouldn't know about without your intervention, right? So it's about enabling you, giving you the time to actually manage the exceptions and make sure that your stock and your forecast is at the right levels.
I think, especially in a world where people have concerns about handing over sort of control to AI, and especially sort of critical business operations like this is providing you with like a baseline and an overview and a forecast, and it's still, like you said, your talented people who can go in and who can control this.
Exactly. It's about empowering you with the time and the information to make a more informed decision. Yes, the system gives you a suggestion, but at the end of the day, you need to decide whether you want to do that or not. So it's about giving the information to be able to sense check the process, sense check what the system's doing, understand what the system's doing, right? And not have a black box that just gives you a number. And then allowing you to make a more informed decision of, okay, is this the right thing to do? So I can see things like annual demand year on year here as well. This is recent history. If I go back to the item section, I can see things like, okay, this is a seasonal item. If I click on that, I can see that there's a seasonal profile here that's been calculated. So it's got a high autocorrelation that tells you that it's a consistent seasonal pattern. Usually around the summer months, it looks like. I can see the system has automatically applied this profile to my forecast. The idea is, we have settings that say, okay, if we hit a certain threshold, then apply that seasonality automatically. So in this case, it has. Which is why you see the forecast kind of going up and down. And the idea is the system's going to make sure you have the right stock at the right time in the right place by taking into account that seasonality, right? So with a 60-day lead time, you don't necessarily need to order for this right now. That might be way in the future. You just need to cover the 60 days and some days on top of that to ensure that you meet your needs of your customer and your planning profile. So this is kind of one item, one suggestion, where you can drill down to the granular level, right? So the idea is the system uses this forecast or these forecast numbers to calculate your reorder point automatically. We call it order level. Built into that order level is a buffer stock or safety stock level to compensate for the fluctuations in your demand.
Mm-hmm.
And then this level is basically the point at which I need to place an order. So when my inventory is at 166 or less, then that's when the system is going to suggest I place an order for an item if I've considered it a stocked item, right? So we have a stock decision here as well, which is coming from the configuration of the system. But wherever you see these pencils, you can override the system and follow your rules as well, right? Like I said, manage the exceptions. And then the ultimate goal of the system essentially is, a list of all the items you need to order. These items can be filtered based on things like the supplier, any grouping information. I can filter on warehouses. If I've got multiple buyers, I can filter on buyer code, right? And ultimately what you're doing is you're looking at the recommendation, you're confirming the ones that you agree with, you're building your order. Once you've got a list of all your confirmed orders, so if I select all these and confirm them, once you've got a list of confirmed orders, then you press your export button. That's going to export all the orders and create a purchase order or a transfer order or an assembly or a production order within Business Central or Navision as needed to take away the manual effort of creating the order, right? We We create the order in your system, and then from there you follow your normal process of actually placing the order to your supplier. So that was just a couple of screens in the system just to give you an idea of the look and feel and the kind of data you can see. If we just quickly switch back to my presentation, so I'll do that here. So just some information about our partner program. So we've got an established partner program where partners can earn up to 40% in commission in any sales to their clients. Obviously, you need to know more information and have a good feeling for kind of what we do, and so I would recommend reaching out for a personalized demo, and we can show you the system or give us a chance to wow your customers.
Absolutely.
Or if you just want any additional information, then feel free to reach out anytime. And then that takes me to the Q&A.
Excellent.
Do we have any questions, Rufus?
Thank you, Ranveer. I'm just, if you do have any questions, please do put them in the chat now. I'm conscious the LinkedIn feed can sometimes run a minute or two late, so just wait for that to follow through. As Ranveer says, EazyStock are on Guide 365 Discover. So if you do have a survey with inventory optimization requirements, then EazyStock may be what you need. Please do reach out to Ranveer directly or to your Seer 365 Partner Success Manager, and I'm sure we'd be able to help. And in terms of, we have a QR code. I'll bring that up. And in terms of engagement, Ranveer is absolutely right. Like a personalized demo, a discussion about specific clients and things, that could be really, really helpful as well. And it's definitely one of the more generous partner margins out there as well. Ranveer, just while we're sort of waiting, what should Microsoft partners be on the lookout for with customers? What are kind of the warning signs of where end customers are struggling with stock, perhaps?
Yeah, so a lot of customers that are maybe established on a tool like Business Central, they might be using the replenishment worksheet, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they might be complaining that they're getting numbers, but they're not quite sure how they're being worked out, or they find that they still need to do things in Excel, right? The problem with something like the replenishment worksheet is it works if the parameters it's working off have been updated, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most companies will produce those parameters and they'll set them and they'll be static until the next time they do it. They might not do it for a year, right? So if you've got companies complaining that it's too cumbersome working with this, if you've got companies that are complaining that they've got too much stock or they keep running out of inventory, then that should be a flag to say, okay, something's not right here. Maybe we should consider an add-on for their needs to help them optimize their inventory better.
Absolutely. No, thank you. Thank you for the answer. And I think that's a really good point as well, right? It's not just necessarily when there's an active implementation in play. It's also, existing Business Central users, account managers, where they're engaging with customers and they can see a need there as well.
Another thing that's probably worth noting is we do work with a lot of ERPs and we are ERP agnostic. So we've got sometimes we've got cases where, a company has decided to implement BC, but, that might be a little while, but today they still have a problem with inventory, right? So with some customers, we've even been able to implement EazyStock in parallel to BC or just before so that they can start reaping some of those benefits and sometimes even pay for at least a chunk of the cost of implementing BC, right? So inventory, there's a lot of money to be saved in inventory. If your stock position is not in the right place, then implementing a tool like this can quickly help you release cash flow and pay for other things.
Yeah, and ultimately potentially, win more business or a new project that you're trying to unlock as well. So
exactly.
Oh, nice. I'm keeping an eye on both LinkedIn and YouTube. I think in this instance there aren't any live questions, so that's excellent. You clearly you've done a too informative a job,
Yeah.
and answered all the questions straight away. Again, if you are watching on demand and you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to Ranveer, your Seer 365 or your EazyStock contacts, or by all means leave a comment in the YouTube or the LinkedIn video, and someone will be in touch very soon. But for now, all that remains is for me to say thank you to Ranveer for your time, and everyone for joining today's session. And I look forward to seeing you on the next as well. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone.